The Vice Chancellor, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Professor Ahmadu, who is represented by Professor Abubakar Muhammad Madaki, the former Dean of Law and the current Director, Institute of Administration, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Ladies and gentlemen, I have this privilege to stand before you today to welcome all of us to this international conference, which is slated for today, the 3rd till the 5th of June 2025, with the title Improving Local Government Governance and Empowering Traditional Institutions, Innovative Policies for Sustainable Development, which is organized by the Department of Local Government and Development Studies, Faculty of Administration, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, in collaboration with PanAfricana Strategic and Policy Research Group and Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees under the distinguished chairmanship of Senator Aliyu Magatakarda Wamako, Sarkin Yamman Sokoto, who is ably represented by Professor Musa Garba Tafsiri, who is wearing many caps. Don't worry, we have reason to clap more. Professor Musa Garba Tafsiri was the former DG NTI and is currently the Secretary of a Commission of Elderly Education Against Illiteracy. Mr. Chairman, with your kind permission, permit me to state that this 2025 International Conference on Empowering Local Governance and Traditional Institutions seeks to provide a platform for scholars, policy makers, traditional leaders, and practitioners to explore innovative policies and strategies that enhance local governance and traditional institutions for sustainable development. Sustainable development really requires that are inclusive, transparent, and adaptive to local realities. That is why the conference will foster discussions on governance structure, policy, public policy, community development, policy innovation, and institutional reforms at the local level by bringing together scholars, like I said earlier, policy makers, development practitioners, and other stakeholders from various disciplines. This conference will foster interdisciplinary dialogue on how local government and traditional institutions can be more effective in driving socio-economic growth, environmental sustainability, and social equity. Through research presentations, policy discussions, and knowledge exchange, the conference aims to generate political recommendations that align with national and global development goals, including Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. It will serve as a platform for rethinking governance at the local level and identifying innovative solutions to the pressing challenges facing communities across Nigeria and beyond. Having said so, I have the honor to most respectfully request that we please rise for the national anthem, followed by ABU anthem.
Flying mode. To hang on to our children, all manner without stay.
Everyone.
Now we proclaim from hills and valleys we come to drown on the stream of knowledge. Our duty is to succeed in learning and service. Excellence is our goal. Ahmadu, Bello, University, there are dreams we shall achieve. We give thanks to Almighty Allah, in Him we derive our strength. We beautifully shall abide by the ways of good learning. Not to south, east to west, no name shall always be. University, I sit again on great learning.
Thank you very much. You may please be seated. Mr. Chairman, permit me to say that having said the national anthem and ABU anthem, it's also natural that we commit this event in the hand of God Almighty for His guidance through prayers. So may I request that we please take a minute or two to pray according to the dictate of our individual faith as opening prayer. Let us pray. Amen. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to once again introduce the chairman of this important conference, who is no other than Senator Dr. Aliyu Maga Takarda Wamako, CON, Sarkiya Sokoto, who is ably represented by Professor Musa Garba Tafsiri, the former DG NTI and currently serving Secretary of Commission of Elderly Education Against Illiteracy. Sir, you are most welcome. It is also my honor to recognize the presence of the Chief Host and the Vice Chancellor, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Professor Adamu Ahmed, who is ably represented by Professor A.M. Madaki, former Dean Faculty of Law and currently serving Director, Institute of Administration, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Mr. Chairman, permit me also to recognize the presence of the Royal Father of the Day, His Highness, the 19th Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Ahmad Nuhu, who is ably represented by Bardan Kudu Zazzau, Alhaji Nuhu Amir. Of course, it is logical that the keynote speaker be introduced also. This is no other than Professor Anthony Daila from Department of Private Law, Faculty of Law, University of the Western Cape, South Africa. So you are most welcome. He's with us virtually. Then, of course, our lead paper presenters. Let me begin by introducing Professor Adejo Odo, who is from the Department of Local Government and Development Studies, Faculty of Administration, Ahmadu Bello University. Of course, his counterpart is with us virtually, and this is Associate Professor Olayemi A. Aliyu of School of Business Administration, Al-Ahrawan University, Morocco. May I recognize the presence of Comrade Aliyu Haruna Bangara, who is the National President, Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, ably represented by the Deputy National President, Comrade Babalola Rufus Adeyemi. Honorable Jamilu Albani is the Chairman, Sabongari Local Government, who doubles as the Algon Chairman, Kaduna State Chapter. But he is ably represented here by Honorable Hassan Abdul, who is from the Council of Secretary, who is the Council Secretary, Sabongari Local Government. The representative of Pan-African Strategic Group is also here with us. This is no other than General Hassan Lai. They are here with us, General Hassan Lai and Comrade Muhammad Barrow. Commander Muhammad Barrow. He refused to come to the high school. I saw you struggling. Yeah, that is a sign of humility. Yeah, let us take it that way. Next is the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center. Today I came to my radio, I was listening to our website there. Yeah. So he is represented by Barrister Suleiman Hassan Gimba. Next is the representative of Congress International, who is no other than Mr. Kolumba Oga. I confidently mentioned the Oga because I am competent with them. But they used to give me the headache. Next is, of course, the Dean, who in my word I was cracking joke with him. I said, you should remember that he's also the co-host. Yes, but this is my appointment. And this is no other than Professor M.K. Isa, Muhammad Kabir Isa. The director, Director Center for Islamic Legal Studies, Dr. Saad Abubakar, is on his way. And of course, the host now, Dr. Umar Shaibu, who is the head of Department of Local, Umar Ahiru, who is the head of Department of Local Government and Development Services. Mr. Chairman, permit me to welcome all deans, directors, head of department, professors, staff, and students who are here. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor at this point to invite the head of department, who I have wrongly mentioned his name, Dr. Umar Ahiru, to give us the welcoming address. Head of department.
The chairman of the occasion, Senator Dr. Aliyu Magatakada Wamako, heavily represented by Professor Musa Garba Maitafsiri, the royal father of the day, His Highness Ambassador Ahmadu Babali, heavily represented by Bardam Kudun Zazo, Alhaji Nuhu Aminu, and the Chief Hall, the Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Professor Adamu Ahmed, represented by the Director Institute of Administration, Professor Abubakar Madaki, the keynote speaker, the lead speakers, Professor Adejo Udo, and Professor Aliyu Olayemi. Our partners in this conference and collaborators, the NULGE National President, who is ably represented here today, the Chairman, PanAfricana Strategic Group, who is being represented as well, and also the Chairman Algon, Kaduna State, who is the Chairman, Sabongari Local Government, equally represented, and then the Dean, Faculty of Administration, the heads of departments here present, members of the academia, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. It is my great honor to welcome you all to this important gathering titled International Conference on Improving Local Governance, Empowering Traditional Institutions through innovative policies for sustainable development. I consider myself privileged to be in the midst of great academics and leaders, seasoned administrators, traditional rulers, unionists, and other stakeholders within the sphere of development of our dear country. The timing and theme of this conference were carefully and aptly chosen for this moment, during which the Nigerian government is responding to the calls and agitations from different quarters to strengthen and place local government in its rightful place in order to achieve the much desired grassroots development through the delivery of efficient services in our communities and fostering participatory democracy. Traditional institutions too are not left out within the theme of this conference due to their significant role in nation building as the custodians of our cultural heritage, values, wisdom, legitimacy, and resilience that even the modern system emulate. This conference provides a unique platform for brainstorming, sharing of ideas and experiences, collaboration, and innovation. It offers us a chance to reimagine governance as a shared responsibility that honors tradition and embraces transformation. Over the next 2 days for this conference, we will engage in plenary sessions, panel discussions, and syndicate groups to explore innovative solutions to the challenges facing our local governments and traditional institutions. We will equally examine about 26 relevant themes, such as decentralization and local government autonomy, policy innovation for effective local governance, and community participation and grassroots leadership, to mention but a few. At this juncture, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our keynote and lead presenters, panelists, presenters, students, and everyone here for responding positively to our invitation. I also appreciate the support of our partners, the National Union of Local Government Employees, PanAfricana Strategic Group, and ALGON, who made this conference possible. To all participants, I invite you to engage actively in the discussions, ask questions, share experiences, and so on. On behalf of the organizing committee, I thank you for your presence and your commitment to progress. May this conference be insightful, inspiring, impactful. Thank you very much. May God be with us.
Thank you. I think the department deserves much more applause. The chairman of the occasion, distinguished Senator Aliu Bagatakanda Wamako, ably represented by the former director NTI, the royal father of the day, His Highness the 19th Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Malam Ahmadu Omali, ably represented by German Kudus Zazzau Alhaji Nuhu, members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me to invite the chief host who doubles as the Vice Chancellor of the Bello University, Zaria, Professor Abubakar Adamu Ahmed, ably represented by Professor Abubakar Mohammed Madaki, the former Dean of Law and currently serving Director, Institute of Administration, Ahmadu Bello University.
The chairman of this gathering, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Zazzau, who is ably represented at this occasion, the keynote speaker, other lead speakers, the partners in this endeavor, the chairman of Sabongari local government, who is ably represented by the secretary to the council of Sabongari local government, Dean, Faculty of Administration, eminent professors here present, heads of department, distinguished scholars, participants, gentlemen of the press, good morning. Mr. Chairman, sir, the Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Professor Adamu Ahmed, had actually made concrete arrangements to attend. But I was told that yesterday his attention was required in Abuja, and he had to travel to Abuja early this morning. Initially, we were still hoping that he would please in here before he proceeds to Abuja. But he was advised that since the meeting is commencing in Abuja today, they should just proceed to Abuja. And I was asked to come and represent the Vice Chancellor. Distinguished scholars here present, you will all agree with me that if our university is going to remain relevant and command a global presence, we need to promote academic excellence through quality research, publication, as well as this kind of gathering where scholars meet to brainstorm on important and topical issues in the country. It's on this note that we congratulate the head of department, staff, and students of the Department of Local Government and Development Studies for coming up with this international conference, which I understand is on improving local governance and empowering traditional institutions. You will all agree with me that at the moment, Nigeria is at a crossroad where formal institutions are confronted daily with challenges that appears to be intractable. So the question now is, should we not revert or have a rethink on some of this structure and then see how we can begin to talk about governance at local level, and then, as the team suggests, empower traditional institutions to come up with these solutions that will address the challenges that are confronting today. I quite agree with the head of the department that say that the theme is not only apt, but timely. And I believe strongly that with the array of speakers that we have seen here present, the engagements here will be robust, refreshing, and educative. Without any attempt to preempt the speakers, I believe that this conference, with this important theme, will address issues such as the nagging question of the constitutional role for our traditional institution, and then how do we also insulate the traditional institution from partisan politics. It will also definitely include issues relating to the constitutional role of local government. Should we allow them to continue to be an appendage, or we have to design an appropriate framework for our own federalism? These and some other issues, I believe, will engage the scholars here gathered today throughout the period of this conference. On this note, I want to again congratulate the department for forging ahead with one of the visions of this university, which is to promote or to position the university for global visibility, which can only be attained apart from research and publication, but through collaborations and partnership. This conference, as we can see today, apart from the department, we have two entities that are coming together with the department to present this important international conference with this university. And once again, I congratulate the head of department for the choice of the theme, and also the keynote speaker, the lead speaker, and also the partners. Congratulations, Richard. Finally, I want to urge the participants to explore our serene environment and beautiful academic environment when we are here in Zaria, and also to forge further academic partnership and collaboration that will help build mutual benefit for the universities and also the participants. At this juncture, I'd like to thank His Royalness for finding time to grace this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was the Vice Chancellor, Professor Adamu Ahmed, who is ably represented by the Director of Institution, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Professor Ahmadu. Please, another applause for the VC. Now, to yet another important segment of this program, which is opening speech by the chairman of the occasion, who is no other than we said earlier, Senator Dr. Aliyu Wagatakada Wamako, former governor of Sokoto State, Sarkinya Sokoto, or who is ably represented by Professor Musa Garba Tafsiri, the former DG NTI and current Secretary of Commission of Elderly Education Against Illiteracy. Mr. Chairman.
The Emir of Zazzau, represented, the head of departments and staff of this university, the Vice Chancellor, who is our host, the head of department and staff of this university, the two entities that put their heads together to organize this conference, the presenters, more importantly, the students of this university. I say good morning. The choice of Senator Aliyu Wagatakada to chair this conference is quite the right one, because Senator Aliyu Wagatakada spent the largest proportion of his life in the local government service. So, which means he must be one of the experts that are supposed to talk on local government energy. And as he could not be able to be here, he asked me to come and represent him. I'm representing him as someone who was a local government chairman on that day. And you are talking of the local government governance. Definitely, I have something to say on this topic. But I'm really sorry. I was contacted before finalizing everything. I would have added relieving local governments, because no matter how you want to manage local government in the absence of enough fund, there's no way. And the relevance of having relieving local government is maybe for the governors to support the ideas of Mr. President that local government should be given their autonomy. And that autonomy is their naira should be given to them to work. When I was the local government chairman, each month 100 million naira dropped into our account. Out of 100 million, our salary there was only 13 million, which means I was left with 87 million to play with. Yeah, to play with. That's psychological language. I'm a psychologist. The period I spent as chairman of local government, we had 179 villages. No village I have not worked in. No village. And what I did was not to just go and start a project in the village. I drafted a form that each village should write 3 things they want us to do for them. So we tabulated those 3 things, then we started working on them one after the other. We worked for them. That's the reason now there is no village I don't have respect. No village in my state, in my local government. But one important thing I need to tell you, the students, that maybe some of you will be on those seats. Wallahi, tallahi, billahi, I left local government with bash, personal bash. I did not go back to my house with 1 naira of the local government. So at this juncture, I would like to go back. The LC was introduced me as the former NTI director, and now ES adults. Yes, there's correction here. ES, mass literacy and adult and non-formal education. So what I'm giving you now is mass literacy. I'm not taking over. I'm not going back to the office. So I'm not yet the ES. It was only announced, but I'm not starting. But my appointment must have been linked to something in 1999. In 1999, National Commission for UNESCO in China invited 9 of us, and we are the people that designed a book that is titled Functional Literacy for Minority Groups in China. We designed that book in 1990. And the work in 1999, after that work, I was doing well in Malaysia. No kidnappers, no shortage of water, no electricity problem, everything okay. But because of that work, I said, if I have something to offer to places like China, why not my own country? It was in September, but by November, I packed everything back to Nigeria. So now that thing is coming back. Mass literacy, as I said, is what is needed in the local government. It's what is needed by all of you. I served as the chairman of local government receiving 100 million naira, but I did not steal 1 naira. I worked for people, I fed them, I replaced their dead donkeys, I assisted the poor to get their daughters married. This is the knowledge you need to have. Now in Nigeria, we receive education, we receive certificates that are useless because they are not functional. Now, when you put the whole lecturers of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and say, now, if government decides to say we don't need you today, we sack you, how do you live? You are a professor, but you can't make effort to get 100 naira out of your salary at the end of the month. The knowledge is not functional. You are literate, but it's not functional. The killings happening in Nigeria is not done by the illiterate only. Some of them can read and write, but yet they are killing people. They are destroying properties because they don't have a life and property value orientation to them. So, in a nutshell, what we are saying, the aim of the president to get the local government autonomy by giving them their money should be encouraged, and this conference should strongly recommend their support to the release of funds to the local government. In the issue of governance, responsible people must be recognized to lead the local government. But when you get an idle person who has nothing to eat, who is running up this house to get something, and you make him a chairman of a local government, you destroy that local government. But these are issues, constitutional issues, for which if there is going to be a chance where, let's say, alteration of the constitution, then these things should be made. Change must be made. At least a retired person that has known yesterday, today, and is going to be tomorrow, is to be recommended, not irresponsible people that will only continue spending money on Gizna. It is not what you have, but it's what you offer to the society. The people that are being praised after 50 years of their death are not being praised because of what they left, but because of attitudinal change they put in the people. It's just an opening speech. I hope the papers to be presented, if they have something to reflect in the making the local government functional, then they present. If not, then they can make amendments before they get to the stage to present their papers. Because it's not the papers you present, the pages, the sentences, no. What is the content of that? What is killing us in Nigeria? We are always after quality, quantity, not quality. If you have one point that is important, it's better than 20 pages. So don't waste your time reading so many things in literature. We are now on the level of not literature, but on what is it physically that is functional. What is it that is physically that is functional? All of us belong to local government. We know what is happening. So the most important thing is for us to forget about literature. See what is the problem. Because in some of the papers I know now, you find they are quoting a local government in Brunei, Dar es Salaam, local government in South Africa. You are wrong. Quote local government, the physical things that are happening in your own local government. Then we find a solution to that problem. With this, I'm saying thank you very much on behalf of Aliyu Magatakada Wamako. I'm wishing you a fruitful deliberation, and I hope this conference, the result of this conference, will not be the same with the other conferences. I hope it will give a headway towards making the local governance relevant with the full involvement of traditional rulers. As a chairman of the local government, when I went there, I had no house. I didn't have house in my local government headquarters, but I had to go down, get the traditional rulers, give them special position that was not in the constitution, and with their assistance, I was able to penetrate to all the villages. With their assistance, I was able to control all the local chiefs around, to the extent that some of them were even made by campaign managers. But a statement by the health department, how you take them away from politics is not possible. Politics is now this air we are breathing. But you only ask them to be moderate, to be responsible, to be psychological. Thank you.
What a choice of a chairman or representative of the chairman himself. The message is very clear. In few words, is advocating for greatest benefit for the greatest majority as against the existing order of ascendancy of the men, few and marginality of the men. Please, with a message of congratulations, please let us appreciate once again the Executive Secretary of Mass Literacy, Adult and Formal Education, Professor Musa Garba Tafsir. Now we are going virtual. I have the honor, Mr. Chairman, with your kind permission, to invite the keynote speaker, Professor Anthony Diana of University of the Western Cape, South Africa. Professor, please go ahead. Hello, Prof. Can you hear us? Prof, can you hear us?
It's not online.
It's not online. We are all hearing, so let me invite the lead paper presenter, Associate Professor Olayemi A. Aliu. Prof, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to join you today. Although I am not speaking from Morocco, I'm speaking from Dallas, United States. So it's midnight over here. It's quite unfortunate for me. It's just 5:50 a.m. in the morning. I hope you can hear me very, very well. Can you hear me clearly, please?
Yes. Actually, yes. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Very clearly.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Please, I would like to share my PowerPoint so that I will speak from my PowerPoint. Then we can move from there. Sorry about that. Yeah. Can you see my slide, please?
Yes.
Could you please confirm whether you can see my slide?
Yes. Yeah, we can see it.
All right, very good.
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. Just as mentioned, you can call me Abdul Latif. I am from Kwara State. I will be talking about the topic unlocking Nigerian potential, particularly looking at how the opportunity for the local government to have their autonomy to strengthen what we currently face as a challenge in Nigeria. My discussion with you today we mainly center more on my experience because I'm opportunity to live in the different continents. I know Dr. Danjuma in Malaysia. I'm a New Zealand citizen. I'm now a permanent resident in America. So meaning that I am from Nigeria. I've been opportunity to live in Asia. I did my master's and PhD in Malaysia, worked there. Then I moved to New Zealand, which is another continent. That would be my third continent. Now I'm in America, living in my fourth continent. So what I want to discuss with you today is based on my global experience in terms of how development had cut across every stage of the local government, the state government, and the federal government. So please allow me to present the topic as structured here. I would like to start with the opportunity that we have in Nigeria as a country. When you look at Nigeria as a country with the unique 774 local government that we have, we shouldn't be in this particular situation. I really appreciate the previous speaker that spoke about is being a chairman of a local government and not stealing money. And I don't know how much the audience know about New Zealand as a country. If you know New Zealand or if you have heard about New Zealand, it's one of the least corrupt countries in the world. It used to lead the entire world in terms of no tolerance for corruption, no tolerance for mismanagement, no tolerance for misappropriation. And when we look back into a country called Nigeria, which is our beloved country, I'm sorry to say this, that this country has everything to be great in the world. All the resources that can endow a country to greatness, to productivity, is what God has given to us in Nigeria. When we talk about human resources, we are opportune with all these internal and external opportunities to strengthen our growth. I would like to briefly talk about the role of the local government, and I will move into some key areas and using some data to support what I want to discuss. Local government as the third tier of the government system in any country provides opportunity in terms of healthcare. They provide the primary healthcare to the people because they are the nearest to the people in terms of providing support. When you look back into what healthcare is in Nigeria today, any household are unable to afford the basic healthcare. Let me give you some practical example. In New Zealand, as someone that works with the government or you work with the private, the government takes care of your healthcare, whether you have operations of $100,000, $1 million, you are not paying anything. Only for those of us who are highly employed and we have an income above $70,000 a year, the government will only collect $40 per your consultation. But if you have anything below that rate, when you even go there, the community card they give to you, which means the local government is having a kind of subsidy to support every individual citizen in that country. Basic education. I have a good picture here to show you. Although I believe this is not how every primary school or secondary school look like in Nigeria. I constantly come back home. I was a visiting professor at Florida State University. I am opportunity to see the level of facilities that we have in our primary, secondary, and the higher institutions. Basic education at the local level is supposed to be the beginning of every success to anyone who have skills, knowledge, and attribute to become successful in life. But unfortunately, when we go to primary schools in our different local governments, they are currently housed by dilapidated buildings, lack of teaching material, even electricity is not available for the young children to survive. When we talk about rural infrastructure, let us not even refer to rural infrastructure. Going back to big cities like Ilorin, I grew up in Ilorin. While we were growing up, you have water supplied to every house. But today, I built my own house in Ilorin. I have to put a borehole. I have to generate my own electricity. I have to generate everything, indicating that the rural infrastructure that's supposed to be supplied on the part of the local government in terms of support is not available. Local roads are not adequate. They are not being up to the standard that is required at the global level. What about agricultural support? It is quite unfortunate today that we are living with hunger in Nigeria, in a land of plenty, with everything that we're supposed to live with. Extension of the local government in terms of helping the farmers to get the best of yields and income is currently not available as a result of what we currently have in terms of local government sabotage through the state government. I have these small slides to show you how the state government has successfully marginalized the local government over the last few decades. Starting with the appointment of caretakers. Instead of running the basic elections, to have local government chairmen, have councillors that can deliberate on how the people are to be supported. The state governors took it upon themselves to appoint caretakers, which is an unelected officials, which will be loyal to them, unfortunately, not loyal to the survival of the citizens. Let's look at what we refer to as joint account system as prescribed by the state government. It's a way of state controlling over the local government. This is unconstitutional. It's something that when we look at the general application of what they are doing, it is meant to divert funds from the local government to state projects. But in reality, if we have to confirm it, would the state government also have a proper project that can at least compete at international level? To me, the answer is no. I have small statistics to share with you in terms of what we have lost when we talk about economic and infrastructural losses. From available data, we have it that more than 15 trillion have been lost as a result of funds that have been diverted between 2010 and 2023. If statistically this is correct, it is a big shame on our part that we are unable to utilize this fund. It is also recorded that 10% of the current project that have been allocated to the local government is what they are actually actualizing, indicating that 90% of the intended projects have been sabotaged or probably not even available as a result of corruption. Currently, it is understood that 60% of our rural clinics are in crisis because they are lacking basic essential drugs. Equally established within the data that we have available for us, it says 28% of the rural unemployment is caused as a result of the current conditions of the local government as constrained on them by the state level. I have these 3 case studies that I highlighted on this slide. A case study of Brazil, India, and South Africa. I don't want to talk about New Zealand, I don't want to talk about America, I don't want to talk about Europe. But let's talk about other developing countries. If you look at Brazil as a country today, internally, Brazil can conveniently survive in terms of their food supply. The supply chain for their food is in a way internationally brand that they have reduced poverty by 25% in a decade. They have also successfully engaged their local government in a way through what they call Bolsa Familia program to manage every aspect of the local government process. Similar example is currently happening in India. If you look at the Panchayati Raj system, it provides opportunity for the local council to look into rural electrifications. Through that particular system, they have successfully increased electricity connection in their rural local government by 99%. That is a way of constitutionally supporting what the local government can do to help the citizens. Let's move closer to Nigeria, South Africa. In South Africa, although a lot of people will say it's because of the white population that have initially developed the environment. If we don't want to talk about South Africa, let's talk about Morocco. I'm currently in Morocco working with Al-Azhar University. I have never witnessed one day that electricity is switched off in Morocco. The standard roads in Morocco is compared to any Western country where you drive on Moroccan road. The same thing is applicable to South Africa. And you see, most of what they have done have been implemented at the local level, not even at the federal level. I have the opportunity to review what the Supreme Court provided in terms of the judgment in 2024, particularly to see that the constitutional right of the local government is supposed to be provided to them so that the current system that we have can be stopped in a way that funds that are being channeled to the different corruption can be looked up into a way that can provide established precedent in a way that our current citizens can enjoy the best of value. I actually put up these anticipated gains if what the Supreme Court provided can be adequately implemented. From my data, I understood that what the Supreme Court actually prescribed last year has even not been implemented until today, indicating that if what Supreme Court indicated, what can we get? We will get a lot of things, particularly starting with infrastructural development, rural roads, water supply, community facilities. Jobs can be created at local level. Agriculture could be a major input of development to Nigeria as a country. With agriculture alone, most of our graduating will be able to have something to come back to. When you look at services, healthcare services, educational services, waste management services, all these individual services can all be coordinated together to support what we can do in a way to strengthen Nigeria as a country. Unfortunately for us, we are still where we are as a result of lack of standards. So I want to come up with, because of time constraint, to look into this short conclusion and call to action for my discussion. It is a time in Nigeria that we don't leave everything to the government. We need to come back together to see how we can establish a secure, direct interaction between the local government and the federal level in terms of transferring financial systems. We need to establish a multi-stakeholder that can help the local government to monitor the different applications of their processes. We don't leave things to people who continue to mismanage resources to the general detriment of the society. Let's consider how we, the academics, particularly when we call ourselves scholars, the curriculum owner, what are we doing to promote community participation in the individual project at the local level? So I am giving this as a kind of open interaction to every one of us in this room to see ourselves as a stakeholder that's supposed to support the local government activities in a way that will enhance their productivity and will provide opportunity for improving the development at the local level. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I have this Q&A section to look at implementation challenges that the Supreme Court judgment may have, community roles that we need to play, the state government compliances that we need to follow with, and mentioning the suspects. So thank you for the opportunity. I'm sorry for my voice and my lack of adequacy because I'm talking to you 5 a.m. over here from Dallas. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Associate Professor Olayemi Ali Ali, but you said you prefer to be called Abdul, who is of the University of, School of Administration and Ahmadu University, Morocco, but currently in Dallas, like we've heard from him. So you're most welcome. Mr. Chairman, may I now physically invite the next lead presenter, who is Professor Adejo of the Department of Local Government and Development Studies, Ahmadu Bello University. And maybe subsequently, we will revisit the keynote presenter after this.
All protocols duly observed. Good morning, staff and students of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to speak to the paper on empowering traditional institutions for sustainable development. I thought I was going to be giving 1 hour. Okay. But when I saw the timetable, it was reading 15 minutes. So I'm going to say what I want to say by a quarter. And then try to push my message. My name is Professor Bello, a former staff of the department. I retired 2023 August on my birthday. But my address is always in care of the Department of Local Government Studies. I put in 41.5 years in the university. And so if there was a position of a traditional ruler, I would have been made one, even though I have my title from elsewhere, through community service and donor engagement. Now, the topic, which is empowering traditional institutions for sustainable development, will assume that the PowerPoint is here, but I'll just summarize since we don't really have the time. We'll assume that the institution of traditional rulers exists. In fact, from the topic, you see that I'm talking about traditional institution. Traditional institution embraces more than traditional ruler. Under traditional institutions, we can talk of traditional political institutions and other functional traditional institutions. Then you break it down, you come down to traditional rulers. And for the purpose of this presentation, we are going to be talking about traditional rulers. For example, what is traditional institution? They are long-standing organizations, customs and practices that have been passed down through generations. They are very conservative and rigid. The norms and values associated with traditional institutions are conservative, they are rigid, and they need to be conservative. Because if they are dynamic, the dynamism will destroy them. So it's better to be conservative and build their institution in the face of modernization. Because these are the two forces impinging on the survival of traditional, either the tradition and the process of modernization. The problems is independence, and before independence has been to what extent can modernization threaten and consume or break down tradition? But we have discovered that tradition has been very resilient, not because of its symbolism only, but because the modern people need it to survive. And that is a very big issue. When we talk of the scope and types of traditional institutions, you can have local communities. The general types of traditional institutions at a broader level. These are what we classify as monarchs, kings, queens, and hereditary rulers, and so on. At one end, you can have chiefs, landheads, leaders. Then you can have spiritual leaders, customary leaders, and so on. There are different types of classification of traditional institutions. But for traditional rulership, who is a traditional ruler? There are different definitions. The Pendant State Law on Traditional Chiefs of 1979 defines a traditional ruler as a traditional ruler is, or let me take the law definition. Traditional ruler means the the traditional head of an ethnic unit or clan, who is for the time being the holder of the highest traditional authority within the ethnic unit or clan, and whose title is recognized as the traditional ruler title by the government of the state. That one is a legalistic definition, by the government of the state. So if you are not recognized by the government of the state, you may be a traditional ruler symbolically or customarily. But if you are recognized, it means you are a bona fide one, as far as government is concerned. That raises issues and questions. But we are not going to discuss them here. Then, the general roles of traditional rulers. A long list of roles. We are listing these roles because people think there is no role for traditional rulers. Not that there is no role, there is no constitutional role for traditional rulers. Even then, there is a constitutional role for traditional rulers. Constitutionally, they are made to be advisors of government. That's a role. In academics, we know that before you can advise, you do a lot of research, isn't it? Yes. So traditional rulers today do research before they advise government. So it's not a small thing. But the general roles: cultural preservation, community leadership, dispute resolution, symbolic representation, development and welfare, maintaining law and order, protecting community lands and resources, promoting community cohesion and unity, supporting education and healthcare initiatives, preserving traditional knowledge and practice. Plenty of them. The problem is not that there is no role. There are roles, but how do they meet up with these roles? And they have their challenges. The challenges are largely external. For example, how do they balance these roles with modern expectations? Second one is managing relationships with governmental authority. Third one, preserving cultural heritage in a changing world. You can see the threat of modernization. They don't want to be swept up, but how do they balance this? And then the one that looks local and very important is addressing community development needs. So having said this, I don't want to bother us with the theoretical perspective, but if we want to understand seriously the role of traditional rulers and their place in governance and how they can be empowered, we are supposed to situate traditional rulers within the two theories. One, very commonly Max Weber's theory of authority, isn't it? One is traditional, one is charismatic, and the other one is legal rational, isn't it? Even from the typologies, you know where traditional rulers belong. Traditional rulers cannot cope with the pressure of charismatic leadership, if you know the meaning of what is charismatic. And they dare not expect us to subject them to legal, rational authority. It's not possible. Like I said, if you allow dynamism and modernization to creep into what is tradition, it will destroy the conservative base. So let's keep that in our mind. Of course, there are modernization theories, there are institutional theories, and so on and so on. Then before we go on, we also want to look at the context and epochs of traditional rulership. The first, before colonial rule, you can see, before colonial rule, let's move down. That's 3.0. Before colonial rule, that's pre-colonial. What we used to have was sole native authority. I was reading on literature, even though my friend says we do not dwell so much on literature, but what is working. Okay? I was reading one literature that says that during this period, the wealthiest people in the community or society were the traditional rulers. They were the wealthiest. That would say they are not compete with them if there was one. So those were the wealthiest because they were the sole native authorities. And according to an author, Whitaker, he says that traditional rulers, and according to Omonoba of Benin, he said traditional rulers had the power even of death. Soul means you rolled all your modern organs of government. What is the executive, what is the chance, into one. And so he had the final authority. But according to the Oba, because of the structure, the district heads were there to advise him, the elders and so on. But that is in literature now. And so they mitigated this authoritarian situation. Then the colonial period, indirect rule. Indirect rule means the traditional ruler is recognized, but is subject to the authority of the British resident. That was the first time the sole native authority was being questioned. And then, during the colonial period, two other things were visible. One, the power of the traditional rulers became subject to reduction. There was a transition from what we call sole native authority to chief in council and chief and council. All these are a result of modernization trying to infiltrate into what is tradition. Chief in council, chief can take decision, even though councillors can input into the decision. Chief and council can overrun the decision of the chief. And we know that according to literature, between 1946 and 1954 or 58, 7 chiefs of northern stock were deposed because they stood against modernization making intrusion into what was tradition. Whether they are heroes or not is another point. Then, post-colonial period, chiefs were recognized. In fact, there was a house of chiefs. Yes. Another house of chiefs. The only problem was that a lesser chief would go into that house and sit in the house while the main chief, the emir of the senior traditional ruler, might not. And so there was abuse. And so the system didn't really survive. But the good thing is, after independence, the chiefs were not forgotten. The emirs, the obas, the obis, the atar, the elders, they were not forgotten. There were still processes of institutionalization. They were recognized by government. For example, somebody said that in the present Nigeria, there is the National Council of State. And the National Council of State also comprises traditional rulers, former presidents, former governors, and so on. So, if you are looking for a situation where the role of traditional rulers will be diminished, you may not get it because they are rubbing shoulders with even people as high as that. That council. So, traditional rulership in Nigeria has become quite survivalist, and they cannot be thrown away. Let me give you, in this debate, there are people we call protagonists, isn't it? And antagonists. Some people want us to maintain the institution, others want us to jettison the institution. Let me give you an example of 2 opinions. Alhaji Shehu Shagari, of blessed memory, said of traditional rulers, we want to be guided by the wisdom of these elders who we greatly respect. That's the president talking. Then, Ahmadu, who is a scholar, said the traditional rulers still constitute a bastion of societal hope, security, stability, and morality. Okay, that they constitute this is not in doubt, and that may be one of the reasons why they are still held in high esteem. Decidedly, it is patently dangerous to ride roughshod over them in our efforts at nation. Now listen to the antagonist. Governor Rimi Abubakar of Kano at a point said, abolish the institution of traditional rulers, and he said certain things in between. Nigeria will do better out. That's a radical view. Then a scholar, Adego, in 1980, said, the idea of allowing the traditional people to be in local government is against the principle of democracy embedded in local government administration itself. With modern training, the police force can better handle the function of emirs and obas. Very radical. Well, some people will say he has lost the sense of history. So you can see, people are not decided, but tacitly the elites are decided. The political elites, they are decided that traditional rulers are very useful, not because I'm one. They are very useful and they are on the ground. And we will see more in another 5 minutes when I will come. Then there's a reconciling view. In fact, one said that they have no business being in local government at all by virtue of modernization and democratization. That is not healthy for their institution. But this is what Yaradua said in the 76 reform. The view of government after the 1976 local government reform tried to reconcile the two positions above thus. Nothing in this reform will be construed to mean an attempt at reducing or abolishing the traditional functions of our emirs, obas, and chiefs. That is to pacify them, isn't it? To allay their fears. On the contrary, the reform recognized the crucial nature of the position of traditional authorities, and care has been taken to preserve the organic unity of our traditional institutions and society. At the point, they removed them. But here, they are glorifying them small. Balance the act. So, having said all this, how about empowering them? Which is a real trust. What we have done is a background. How about empowering them? We know what empowering means. Improve their capacity, create an enabling environment, give legal guarantees and protection. And sustainability, what do we do to make them survive and produce lasting outcomes from the roles they perform? So, and let me say here that when we talk of traditional rulers, our attention goes to the emir and his council. That's the first class, isn't it? We don't bother so much about the structure of traditional rulership, which goes through the district down to the village. And that is where we miss the point. The district and village level is where the active work goes on. If we don't know, and we are going to demonstrate by citing one or two examples from Bauchi and Katsina. But before then, what are their roles? What are the ways of empowering them? One, institution building. Like we said, they've been part of the state, the National Council of State. At the state level, we have a House of Chiefs, or, sorry, what do they call it? Council of Chiefs at the state level. And at the local government level, we have additional councils. So it's not just, we need to do something to improve their administration, their management, their reach, and the performance of their roles. That means they are being recognized for being given these institutions and so on. Then they play mobilization role. They influence government decisions. They monitor and implement decisions. They promote community participation and mobilization. Now, for the district level, which is where I want us to focus, so that we can bring out some insight on what they really do. They are so much involved to the extent that you start questioning, if they have so much role, why give them more? The problem is not giving them more role, but how to perform the existing roles. For example, in Bauchi, we went for a workshop, and somebody presented a paper and listed, next slide, and listed the following duties and responsibilities of a district head as they affect agricultural activities. And they include all this. We don't have time to mention them. About 9 of them. 9 of that is for agriculture only. And then health, he mentioned another 9. And for the other sectors, he mentioned their roles. We didn't have that insight before. He said, so these people have these roles, and people are still looking for roles. It's not a matter of looking for roles, but how to empower them. Then we saw the Katsina example when it came to security role. That is where once you go through the security role, you ask yourself again, so traditional rulers are involved to this extent. Why are we then having insecurity? Because their security role is even embedded in the state law for local government, state emirate council laws, laws and so on. If you look at the security role, let's even take 1 or 2. Effective traditional security reporting system. Then there's a security architecture that puts responsibility on district and village heads, and so on and so forth. We met somebody who was a former secretary to government also, Malam Saleh, and he said traditional rulers at the local government and at the level of district and village heads must be conscious of the security situation in their domains. And as such, they should not only perceive threat to security, but identify it as soon as it starts to manifest itself. And so they are always on the edge to know what is happening. And they also, according to the Katsina Emirate Council law, the next 3 or 4 slides are on traditional rulers and mostly their security roles. So you will take time to read through. At the local government level, at the district level. At the district level, there is a committee headed by the district head, comprising village heads. At the village level, there is a committee headed by a councillor from that ward, which mans security issues. Interestingly, there are 3 broad security roles at the village level. At least let's mention them. Are you there? Continue. Village level. Okay. Village heads have their own functions. Settling of border, farm, and other disputes, or settling of border, farm, and other disputes among his subjects, including disputes with Fulani people. Monitor the movement of strangers in his domain, coordination of hamlets in his domain. They are very difficult functions, and they are human relations functions. They are very difficult, but they are saddled on a village head. So the question is, how will he be able to perform all? And that's why we said one of the ways is to fund them adequately. There is no, just like our colleague was talking about funding local government. You have to fund such levels because the roles are actually performed by them. When we were in Bauchi, somebody said, if we know the role of of village level and district level chiefs in security and what they are facing in performing those roles, we appreciate them more. So, and again, at the local government level, there are two key structures. And these structures are also, these structures consist of high-level officials and also district-level officials. So both village and district heads are part of the security architecture of the local government. What are these? Police Community Relations Committee. That is if the local governments are meeting, chairman as the head. And the second one is, which is a higher one, is Peace and Security Committee. It used to be Security Committee, but it's Peace and Security Committee. So the question arises, if we have all these committees and so on at these levels, why is there still insecurity at the local government level? That is the issue. Now, finally, I brought up a communique. That was arrived at when me and my colleague went to Bauchi to support them at a workshop. A communique arrived at by the participants on how to improve the situation of the district head and the village heads in security and its management and we had almost 13 issues, which we cannot read out here. And these issues range from funding, from working with security agencies, to good organization, and working with the local government and so on and so forth. Logistics issues and so on. So the point here is, it is not that there is no role. Even these roles have saturated the institution. There is a role, and there are roles, mobilizational, security, and so on and so forth. But where is the enabling environment to do it? And if you go through these 13 items on the communique from the Bauchi workshop, discover live, and this is how the people think about roles of a traditional ruler. So in conclusion, I want to make the following observations. One, that traditional rulers have become well entrenched and perform more unseen roles with the political elite. There are certain roles we cannot, even though our colleague told us that they became agents, pay managers, even though they are not allowed. So they perform some unseen roles. In fact, the role is reciprocal, but it's behind the scene. The elites benefit from them, and they in turn benefit from the elites. Nobody is arguing because it's not constitutional. If it was constitutional, you would have taken it to court. It's political, so it can be settled politically. Then the second one, they are in position to influence government decisions in favor of their communities. But whether they are doing much of that is what we don't know. 3, lower tier traditional institutions are most active in day-to-day roles and should be encouraged in security matters. 4, funding, logistics, motivation, organization, recognition constitute their main challenges. Addressing these challenges will translate into their empowerment and sustainability. And finally, empowering traditional rulers is about strengthening their roles, legislative support, capacity building, community engagement. And we should note that the issue of traditional rulers is not just a local government issue, or a state, or a federal issue. It's an intergovernmental affair. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Professor can only retire, but he can never be tired. Yes, please, let's appreciate him. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and the floor is now open for remarks. And I have the honor to invite from our invited guests, the National President of Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, to please come give a few remarks.
Good afternoon. Nogi we. You understand the language of the union. The chairman of the occasion, our royal fathers and traditional rulers here present, ably represented, the respected representatives of development partners, fellow comrades in the struggle, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen of the press. On behalf of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, under the able leadership of our able President General, who is unavoidably absent due to an official assignment, Comrade Aliyu Haruna Kankara, FCPA, that I'm here representing. And I'm not only here, I'm accompanied here by the other national officer here. I'm here with the national trustee and the national welfare, as well as the general secretary of the Great Union of NULGE, Nigeria. Also, I have the HOD education. And on this note, I humbly stand here this afternoon to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who made today's engagement a success. In fact, this conference, an inspiring one, and is highly celebrated. We deeply appreciate our hosts and dignitary traditional rulers, development partners, and all stakeholders who have shown not only their presence, but also their commitment to the cause of grassroots transformation. Our discussion today reaffirms a powerful truth that local government is the foundation of national progress, and that empowering traditional institution is key to unlocking sustainable community-driven development. Thank all the contributors for the rich, shared, bold ideas proposed, and the collective will demonstrate to pursue innovative policies that will strengthen our local government and deliver real benefits to the people. As we live here for these 4 days of this great conference, we will only carry words, we not only carry words, but also carry renewed actions and advocacy to ensure that local governments are autonomous. Traditional institutions are respected partners, and the development we seek is inclusive, practical, and lasting. Once again, I want to thank every participant, I want to thank everybody here for this great opportunity. And I want to tell you that, local government autonomy has come to stay. It's just a matter of time. Nigeria. Thank you. God bless you.
Amen. That was Comrade Baba Lola Ufus Adeyemi, representing the NULGE. Next to give his remark is the representative of the chairman of the State Chapter of Algon and the Sabongari Local Government Chairman, Honorable Jamilu Albani, ably represented by Honorable Hassan Abdul, who is the Council Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, sir, please kindly permit me to stand on by the existing protocol. Thank you, sir. Well, on behalf of Honorable Jamilu Albani, Chairman of Sabang Local Government, and at the same time, the Algon Chairman of Kaduna State, he asked me to present him here and deliver his good message. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this very important national conference, and I would like to speak briefly on the theme of the conference, which is improving local governance and traditional institutions through innovative policies and sustainable development. What caught my attention looking at the theme of this particular conference is the issue of the sustainability aspect of the policies, because most policies were being developed and shared where local government can be improved, but unfortunately, most of these policies were not sustained or sustainable. Some of the policies were already mentioned by previous speakers, among which are local government autonomy, capacity building of local leaders and traditional leaders, and inclusive governance, and of course, leveraging on technology to enhance effectiveness and efficiency of leadership. But what are the importance of these policies if they are sustainable, if and when they are implemented the right way? So what some of the importance of these policies, they will bring about responsive governance, which is mostly lacking in most of our local government, this is for sure. Secondly, there will be effective and efficient citizens engagement, which involves inclusive governance. Then there will also be effective and efficient service delivery by both local government officials and traditional institutions. And lastly, there will be a lot of infrastructure and development at the local government. So we pray that the outcome of this particular conference will not just be kept at the shelves of our libraries, but it will be taken further for the benefit of all our local government across the nation, so that the leadership or people at the grassroots level will benefit immensely from the outcome of this particular conference. So we thank you all and have a wonderful session, and we expect the outcome of this conference to be shared widely and make adequate advocacy to ensure that Nigerians benefit from the outcome of this particular conference. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you. He did all he could to keep it very short and simple. You will agree with me. Next to give his remark is the representative of Pan-African Strategic Group. I have General Hassan Lai, Comrade Muhammad Barak. Ahmadu, okay. I'm reducing please apologize. Ahmadu Muhammad Barak. VCM and the member National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Guru Jos. Yes.
I'm standing here on behalf of Ishola Williams from the Pan-African Strategic and Policy Research Group. Where I say we, he means him. All protocols observed. Good afternoon. This conference is at the right time and place for obvious reasons, as the Department of Local Government Development Studies, which has been the center of excellence for local government studies in our countries over more than half a century. We feel very privileged with the collaboration and the follow-up with Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center that this thing was being held. At the same time, our forever gratitude to the immediate past Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Professor Kabir Bala, who has been for the past 2 years treating us as brothers and opening the doors to Pan-African Strategic and Policy Research Group. The ideas we profile for fruitful collaboration with faculties and departments in the university, despite the financial challenges faced. However, there is need for innovation with focus on academic outcomes and less on financial matters. We congratulate the new Vice Chancellor, Professor Ahmadu, and we look forward to the strengthening that collaboration based on this pre-degree started with the Conference on Modular Nuclear Fusion Reactor powering Nigeria, Africa, with Professor Sunday Jonah. To Dr. Jumari, the head of the ELOS, and his team, you have brought together a set of personalities that will act on the recommendations to be proffered in this conference. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, and I will stick to my corrections. Ahmadu Ahmad Bara Emena. Please, may I still invite General Hassan Lai? Okay. The hallmark of military is hierarchy and discipline. That's why your name was put first. No problem. Yes, that is it. The next to give, the last but not the least, next to give the remark is the representative of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, Transparency International Nigeria, who is represented by Barrister Suleiman Hassan Imba. Barrister, we want you to give some remarks.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. As stated earlier, my name is Suleiman Hassan Imba. I'm a lawyer with the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, SLAC, and also the National Chapter of Transparency International. So most of the work we do at CISLAC involves formulating policies, contributing to national discourse, and also helping the National Assembly in terms of submission of memos, participating in public hearings, and lobbying. Our aim is, after this very important gathering, we will be able to come up with a policy brief that we will be taking to the National Assembly, and then inshallah we'll try to work very hard to see that the recommendations that are made at the end of this conference are passed by the National Assembly and also 2/3 of the states in Nigeria. And I'm sure this is going to be a very qualitative discussion, because I am a product of ABU, and then I know whatever ABU is doing is of the highest standard. So once again, Once again, on behalf of myself and CISLAC, thank you so much for having me, and I'm wishing us a very a successful deliberation. Thank you.
Yes, the better you portray ABU, that reflects on your own certificate. Yes. So you're doing your own, it's a civic duty. You're trying to protect yourself and protect the but at least you are a proud alumnus. We're also proud of you. That was the representative of the CISLAC. Next to give, the last now to give his remark is the representative of the Congress International, Mr. Kolumba Oga.
Good afternoon, everyone. I stand on the protocols, but will be straightforward. Congress National will publish the magazine for local government or people's dividend. We've done it for many years, and we've gone around this country. And what we have seen is very sad. I want to challenge all of us. You told us about New Zealand, other countries, Brazil, they mentioned names. Let me tell us one thing. Nobody will build Nigeria except Nigerians. Nobody. If you like Japan, young people, like Japan, nobody will build this country except Nigerians. So if things are wrong at the local level, we are at fault. And why we are part of this conference is because we have been trained for local government autonomy to our magazine ever since. We worked with NULGE before now, when Kingsley Ogba was their president. Who right now we are with Agom in Abuja. So we are very happy when we are invited for this program. We will not give up until local governments are free. We will not give up until there's local government autonomy. We will not rest. We are happy with the president taking them to court and winning the case. And I want to assure us that the local government autonomy, the governors that are doing what is wrong, they are going to give up. They will give up because we are going to blind Nigerians through writing, through our certain channels, working with CISLAC, to make people know that governors cannot take all the money. Let me tell us one truth. In 1999 to 2007, when the FCT did their activities, they found out that much of the money our government stole, I use the word stole because they stole, was local government funds. And what is the consequence? You are seeing security all over the country. Why you don't create jobs for young people through local systems? What you will see is insecurity. All that we are seeing, not the banditry, Boko Haram. If local governments were working, young people will have jobs. It's not old people that are Boko Haram, young people. Bandits are not old men, it's young people that are jobless. So when local governments work functionally, and that's why it's a challenge to all of us. It's not a joke. The local government, my local government, we must be interested. Don't just leave to the governor to buy lists of cars, go up and down, go to Dubai, go to London, and then abandon the things that must be done. So we are part of this. I want to encourage all of us to be part of this. Do not just end in this conference. No. We should not from now on be and apologize to young people. Be committed. Be committed. Don't just abandon it. Aspire to be a local government chairman or do the right thing like our professor did. You understand? That's why we are here. We are supporting you. We will continue to support this program as God will help us. Thank you very much. And God bless everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Kolumba Oga, representative of the Congress International. Mr. Chairman, there is a decision being reached that we link up with the presenter, but this time around it's expected only to give a 5-minute remarks. If we can hook up with him virtually, and we make progress. If it's not available, then we hold it up. So, sir, are you with us? It's not with us? Then we can make progress. Next, going by the program, after the series of remarks, of course, is a blessing this time around to be given by His Highness the 19th Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Ahmadu Babali, ably represented by German Kudu Zazzau Alhaji Nuhu Aminu, who hand down the mic.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The chairman of this conference, ably represented by Madam Professor Salati, the representative of National the representative of the Vice Chancellor, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. His Royal Highness, the Emir of Zazzau, is not with us here because we are all aware that the Salah celebration is about to take place. So right now, they are holding a security meeting for that purpose. So that is why he sent me to represent him. My comment is going to be very small. This issue of improving local government and empowering traditional institutions lies with two people, the ALGON and the NULGE. I was fortunate to be a director for local government in the Kaduna State for 8 years and a permanent secretary for Local Government Service Commission before I retired 10 years ago. I see no reason why NULGE and ALGON should agree on any direction by the government. They are independent, they are free, and so they should stand by the ruling of the Supreme Court that they are autonomous. I could remember in 2005, local government chairman was independent, so to say. A sum of 3 billion naira was collected for the purchase of fertilizer. And wallahi, that 3 billion was used for that purpose. Thereafter, there is one village now here in Sabbath local government. My apology to the secretary there. Ababa, they said there should be all facilities there, road, electricity, and provision of water. They asked the local government to give 50%. I cannot remember that amount of money that time, but it was in millions. I took the check to the Ministry of Finance and Housing, and up to this moment, those provisions were not there for the populace. Where is the money? For traditional institutions, ours is just very simple. Sulu. That's all. If you go to my office, this is some here, Mr. Chairman, as the district head of this place, there are a lot of people waiting for me there. Marriage issues, one year, one owner. And what worries me now is I ask them to wait. Somebody married a woman with 10 kids and he divorced her and is not feeding her and the children. They are there waiting for me, and inshallah, if you refuse to write an undertaking, we will to put the leader and these are our responsibilities. As one of the speakers has rightly said, security and a lot of other things. Just the day before yesterday, in one of the villages here, a woman died. She went for liquor and unfortunately the bird caught and it caught her head. It's a very tragic thing. I had to leave her house by 5:30 after soul prayer and went to the bed because there was about to be chaos. So these are some of the things that I think we need to do in one, empowering the traditional institutions, because maybe Myanmar is not getting anything from the government, not a single goal. The village head is getting 26,000 naira now, as I'm talking to you now, as his monthly salary. My salary, my salary is 130,000 naira every month. So I think we have to look into this. Maybe we have to bring back this 1996 the Zwicky report, go through it again. I'm happy that we have a committee on traditional institution at the National Assembly now, and then maybe they are thinking of deliberating on issues that relate to traditional institutions. But this is my prayer. To navigate an article, you have to sit up. Thank you.
That was the representative of His Highness who has given us the blessing on behalf of His Highness the Emir of Zazo, Ambassador Ahmadu formally. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are making progress, and going by the program, we are now on the stage of giving some awards. And the recipients of the award I want to announce and be ready. We have the chairman of the occasion. We have the lead paper presenter who is with us, professor that retired but is not tired, the chief host, that's the vice chancellor, the royal father who has just spoken, the special guest of honor, Comrade Aliu Gangara, the national president, delegate, ably represented, and the chapter guest of honor of Algon, that is the chairman, Savangari, represented by the secretary of the council, and the Pan-African Strategic and Policy Research Group partners, which Ahmadu, Muhammad, Barao, MNI. So it is my honor. Do you have please do something out first. That of the chairman, I would like to invite the chief host and the vice chancellor, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Professor Adamu Ahmed, ably represented by Professor Badaki, to present this award to the chairman of the occasion.
It is my honor and privilege to present this award of merit to Senator Dr. Aliu Magateka Dawamoko, ably represented by Professor Ame Tafsir. Congratulations.
So, sir, you may remain. May I, Mr. Chairman, you may please remain and make the next presentation. The next presentation goes to the. Let me start with you. Then I call this Vice Chancellor, sir. Yes, please wait. Please sort out the Vice Chancellor. Let's go. Let's follow me. The chairman presenting to the chief host, please. Chairman presenting to the chief host.
On behalf of organizers of this conference, I hereby present this award to you. It is a mark of good leadership and responsibility. Thank you.
Well, Father. The next award goes to the Royal Father, His Highness the 19th Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Ahmed. Chairman, sir, you are presenting to His Highness. Yes. Ably represented by German Kudu Zazzau, Alhaji Nuhu Aminu. Sabon sarki ne.
Hana Zaria, Mahana Kenya, Shakuru Kundum, Sarkin Zazzau, Ahmadu Allah da kalin zabi, da kada kyawo da ya dattijo, mai da gurbin sarkin Zazzau, Ahmadu kai ne, Sarkin Zazzau.
Thank you, sir. We can now allow the chairman to take his seat. May I invite the chief host and the vice chancellor, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, who will assist us in presenting this award to the lead paper presenter, Professor Adejo Odo. So you complete the rest of the invitations. You're almost done. Yeah. Lead paper presenter, Professor Adejo Odo.
Pleasure to present award of merit to Professor Adejo Udo, Department of Local Government and Development Studies. Congratulations, Prof.
Vice Chancellor, sir. The next award goes to the special guest of honor, who is Comrade Aliyu Haruna Kankara, National President NULGE, presented.
I present this award of merit to Comrade Aliyu Haruna Kankara. Congratulations.
Next is the chairman Angol, who governs and the chairman of the local government, deputy represented by the secretary of the council.
This award of merit to Honorable Emilu Albani, Chairman, Algo, Kaduna State Chapter. Congratulations.
Next is the PanAfricana Strategic and Policy Research Group. They call on Ahmadu Mohammed Barau, MNI.
I have the pleasure to present
award of merit for an African strategy and policy research group. That be represented or collecting on behalf of the group, Mohammed Barrow Emenai.
That's all, sir. Yeah, thank you, Pastor Salah, for yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, it is now my honor to invite for his closing remarks, and subsequently we take the vote of thanks, a national anthem, group photograph, lunch and prayer, and the technical session will convene while we depart. So I would like to invite for his closing remark the Dean, Faculty of Administration, Professor Mohammed Kabir Isa.
The Vice Chancellor and the Chief Host, the representative of His Eminence, the Emir of Zozo, 8 speakers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure as the host, the Dean of the Faculty, that this conference is being hosted, to wish the department a successful deliberation, and wish all the keynote speakers and paper presenters all the best of the session. And we are looking out to the proceedings of this conference, and inshallah we are looking out to a journal, a dedicated journal to this conference. Already the 2 speakers have set the tone for us, and we are going to look out for those tones in the thematic presentation from the key speakers. Now, on that note, I'd like to thank Almighty God for giving us space and time to host this conference and giving us the opportunity to attend and be here today. We want to thank His Eminence, the Emir of Zozo. I want to thank Senator Wamaku, who sent a very able representative, Professor Nitafsir, and who also bared his own thoughts to the main theme of the conference. I would like to appreciate the engendered species of my lecturers, with his twin brother here, as Professor Adejo Udo and Professor Umar Masood. Please, Professor Umar Masood, stand up to be recognized. Please stand up to be. These are our endangered species of lecturers. We would like to appreciate you. You've been very good teachers, and you've laid your mark, you've laid your mark, and inshallah, you will not be disgraced. And this conference is a testament, a legacy of what you have built. Very importantly, we would like to thank NULGE and Algon for being partners in progress. And each year we want to host this conference, particularly NULGE. Each time we knock at their door, they are always at our beckon and always willing to support and partner with us. The Pan-African Strategic Group, headed by General Ishola Williams, we'd like to thank them. And we'd like to thank members of his team who represented General Ishola. Please, I'd like to recognize the presence of my elder brother, General Hassan Lai, who is here on behalf of General Ishola, and Admiral Ahmadu Mohammed Barrow of the El Barrow Hospital and School, who are also part of the Pan-African Strategic Group. We appreciate you for supporting us and being with us. The chairman of ALGOD Kaduna State, ably represented by his council member, we appreciate you. CISLAC, we appreciate you. And all the other associate bodies who joined in marking this event with us, we appreciate you. For those of you who have traveled far and wide, may the Almighty Allah take you back home safely, and we wish you all the very best. For the participants to this conference, we wish you fruitful deliberation and successful proceeding. And may Almighty Allah bless all of us who have turned out to participate in this August event and in the subsequent proceeding. May Almighty Allah bless the outcomes of the proceeding, and may it serve the purpose for which it is meant, to uplift our local governance and empower our traditional institution. May Almighty Allah bless all of you. Thank you very much.
We also thank the Dean, whom by the powers conferred on him, he merged the closing remarks with the board of trustees. We thank you, sir. Now, I have the honor to most respectively request Dawood Ayuse for the national anthem only, excluding the ABU anthem. Then we have group photograph outside. And we proceed for lunch and prayer, and the technical session will convene when we will have taken our leave. May you please rise for the national anthem. Thank you very much. We may now take our leave, and those that are responsible for the technical session will convene after the lunch and prayer session. Congratulations to the Department of Local Government and Development Services. And we wish you success for the remaining days.